2020 Democrats flooding Iowa this weekend ahead of the first Democratic debate. They're already making some big headlines. For instance, Beto O'Rourke was introduced by a supporter as a candidate. This is one of his supporters saying it, a candidate without a whole lot of policy ideas. Listen.
He wants to hear what we want. He's a blank slate that is waiting to be filled by our hopes and dreams for the United States.
So he can be whatever you want him to be. And Senator Kirsten Gillibrand live streaming herself at a local bar before mixing up some drinks for her supporters. She was a bartender for a day. Here with more of the highlights is Republican strategist Joseph Pinion. Good morning. Good to see you, sir.
Good to be here.
What do you think about even Beto's supporters saying he's kind of an empty vessel? He can be whatever you want him to be.
Well, I think that actually is an apt description for most of the Democrats who are running this year. I mean, I think you have Kamala Harris, who, bless her heart, every time she opens her mouth, it's very apparent that if it hasn't been poll tested, you're not going to get a straight answer from her. So I think that when you're talking about Beto, when you're talking about many of the also-rans in this overcrowded Democratic field,
23 of them in there.
23 of them now and counting. I think that when you look at those type of numbers, when you look at people trying to get attention at a bar to distract from the fact that they're a limousine liberal, it used to be Annie Oakley. Now she wants to, have everything for everybody for free. My grandfather always told me, just because someone's not sending you the bill doesn't make it free. And so that's really what we're dealing with here in America with this, really out to lunch Democratic Party.
Well, let's take a look and hear from those Democrats directly. We put together a little montage of what they're saying in Iowa. Watch this.
He wants to divide us. We bring our people together around an agenda.
I will fight against the violence and hate that President Trump has created.
Let me tell you the consequences of his rhetoric. It doesn't just offend our sensibilities or our ears. It fundamentally changes who we are as a country.
And we played a clip earlier in the show where Bernie Sanders at that same event said flatly the president's a sexist and he's a racist. How does that play on the trail when you go that negative?
I think the reality is, I recall that old Dale Bumpers, trying to save Bill Clinton's presidency on the floor of the Senate, saying, when people say it's not about sex, I guarantee you it's about sex. And so when, people out here trying to pretend that, they're trying to appeal to some type of moralistic ambition for America, really we're just talking about people trying to find ways to win elections. And when you look at a crowded field with a litmus test for trying to get into a debate is 1%, I think that should tell you how low the bar has gone as far as people trying to make sure who's going to hold the highest office of the land to make sure that they can represent America.
Point, this is a second straight weekend, and quickly, Joe Biden is sort of skipping the big events where everyone else is. Is it a smart strategy for him as a front runner?
I would think so. If you look at somebody like Bernie Sanders, who has basically 100% name ID, is trapped in the teens. For somebody like Joe Biden, who I think if you talk to the overwhelming block of Democratic voters, you're talking about black voters, you're talking about senior citizens, the number one criteria for many prime Democratic voters in primaries is who is capable of beating Donald Trump. And I think you see somebody like Joe Biden saying, I'm going to try my best to ride above the fray and hope nobody remembers old Joe.
Float above the clouds and maybe stay out of this mess. Exactly. Joseph Pinion, appreciate you coming in.
Thank you so much.
All right, Father's Day, just 1 week away. Skip Bedell, our old friend, has the best gifts for Dad, including the perfect golf swing.